Welcome, one and all, yet to another live stream. My name's Lewis, also known as MrCameraJunkie, where I remind you to upgrade your skills and not your gear. Welcome to yet another live stream. Today is Saturday, February the 20th. We're moving over now, over the midnight hour on the East Coast to the 21st. Welcome once again. Today, we're going to be talking about UV filters or filters in general for cameras and photography. So I'm going to get right into it. And that did not work. Okay, let's do this. There we go. And we're talking about filters. And for the first time, I'm going to tell you what not to do. There's plenty of things that I have given you as tips in the past. And right now, I'm going to tell you this little piece of kit right here is probably the most useless thing that's on the market. Why do I have one, you ask? Well, I put it on this just to talk about it today, but in all reference, look, you can't even focus on it. Okay, so the reason why I have it is because any photographer will have a UV filter eventually. They're gonna purchase something online on eBay or Amazon, and they're gonna get it with a bunch of extra accessories. And that's how we usually end up with them. A lot of new photographers coming into the field are asking, hey, should I get this to protect my lens element? And for this case, I will tell you absolutely not. Pretty much you're better off with just a lens cap on your camera, and that's gonna protect you better. And yeah, that's my tip of the day. When it comes to lenses, the last one that you should buy is a UV filter, because this one, the UV filter, is absolutely useless to me. Well, there we go. Now let's go. None of my macros are working. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the main with the chat. Welcome one and all. How are we doing today? Okay, let's see here. Let's see if the chat does come up on screen. Okay, we have Aaron, welcome. Says hoping to hear from Arnold. I don't know.
Come on, do it.
Sly's here. Sly, welcome. You're very early today. And it looks like we're here. We got Scott Rogers. How are you doing, sir? Welcome. And yeah. Krispy Kremes. Okay, so we do have the chat on screen. Good to go. Krispy Kremes. I've been staying away, but I'm thinking about changing my buy me a coffee page to buy me a donut. Let me know what you think about that. So, you know, my Krispy Kreme fund. So I just learned now that you could actually change it. So I actually am thinking about it. So Legacy Visual Media back again. What's up? How are you doing, sir? Welcome. Thank you for thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you spending your time here with me. Today I'm talking about filters, right? And the reason why I bring up the UV filters is because it has been in conversation in the photography groups that I'm in on Facebook, and they trip me out, the conversations, actually, because this is like the cheapest thing that you can put in front of your lens. And in my experience, you know, and I'm just going by my experience, the UV filter actually ends up giving me like a ghosting and a flaring that it wasn't intended in the initial shot. So you spend money, you know, you spend a lot of money on expensive glass, and these elements on the glass have these special coatings. This is what you're paying for. And then after all that, you get scared to use the lens and you throw one of these on there, which is, even if it has coatings, this is not a Zeiss lens. This is not like a Noctilus. It's just, you're not gonna get the quality of image, and you're gonna degrade the quality of image, the quality of light that's gonna hit your sensor, that you spent all this money on a great lens, and you're gonna like downgrade it with the UV filter. Now, if you're gonna use a filter, The ones that I do recommend and that I always say is using a polarized filter, because it's not changing the quality of light, but it's changing the light wavelength. And we can get completely technical, but when you're like me, shooting for myself, not even, you know, for like a photo shoot or anything, just shooting for myself, I'm mostly in my vehicle. So to get past the glare of my windshield and the other glass around in my vehicle, I recommend using a polarized filter, because you'll be able to focus on things past the dirt on your windshield. So, and that's that. And that's my thoughts on it. I would love to hear your thoughts on it, because, you know, there's people who would actually say, oh, buy the UV filter. And this is stuff that I read in chat, so I'm not just pulling this out of my, you know. So they say, buy the UV filter, the cheap one, use it, but then before you go take the photo, you take it off. I'm like, so you would buy a UV filter to use it like a lens cap? That makes no sense. So, you know, lens cap is a lot easier to come on and off of the lens, and it's going to protect it. Actually, the lens hood, if it has one, you know, if your camera has a lens hood, will protect you way more than any filter would. And that's a fact. It's what it's designed for. Okay. So we're here. Aaron's laughing out loud saying, but me a Krispy Kreme? Oh, really? Buy me a Krispy Kreme. Yeah, I think that might be on the horizon. Buy me a Krispy Kreme. Do YouTubers need a UV filter? Well, it depends, but when it comes to photography, that's where it mostly, you know, falls into play. So in photography is what I've seen that it degrades the quality. I actually have that happen to me. You know, I bought my Zeiss, the one that I made a video about, my Zeiss 55, and I had a UV filter on it, took a shot, and I absolutely loved the shot. And then I have this artifacting, these like UFO light orbs that are flying around in the image, completely distracting, and wasn't the easiest thing to take out in post, because of the fact that it was so weird and it was over the clothing. So I wish it would have been easier, but nope. So I personally have an image that was affected by UV filter, and since that happened to me, I never used them again. I was like, never again. I was like, exactly. You spend all this money on great glass, on all the coatings and that are designed to handle light, maximum capacity, and you degrade it by putting a cheap piece of glass in front of it. Welcome, Mario. How are you doing, sir? Thank you for hanging out. Love to have you here. I'm glad to have you here. Saying hi to everyone. Aaron saying what's up. Sly saying, but Lewis, we've been using UV filters forever. We're old and we're set in our ways. I love that. Well, that's why we have an open discussion. If you're set in your ways, I guess you've never had an image affected by a UV filter that was unnecessary. Now, there is another time that I say I will always use a UV filter, which is when I'm doing a beach photo shoot. There's sand in the air and it's just blowing like air sandpaper, and I don't want the sandpaper making micro scratches on my lens. So I'll have that on the UV filter, but I will sacrifice that aspect for that. But I know that ahead of time. So that's the only time that I would use a UV filter. And maybe even at that time, I'll see if I can finagle a polarizing filter. Yep, something like that. Definitely. Okay, so Mario says there is no need to use UV filters to protect the lens. Use clear filters. I wouldn't even do that. That's what I'm saying. What a UV filter is, a clear filter is, there's no difference to me. It's still a cheap piece of glass. I wouldn't. Oh, like I said, my experience is what I always talk about, guys. You know, I bring you my point of view and my experience. I had a UV filter affect an image of mine, and I wasn't happy with it. So ever since that, I just like stay so far away from UV filters. But I would love to hear, like, do you guys use any other filters? Because I love polarizing filters. I'm here in South Florida, so we get a lot of good skies. You know, everything's flat, so we don't have like sceneries, that aspect, but we do have a lot of like clear skies and things like that. And when we have nice blue skies with full of clouds, then you can really maximize with a simple UV filter. I mean, a polarizing filter. And somebody actually mentioned it the other day that I was like, and I agree, they're right, which is the effects that you get from a polarizing filter, right? You cannot reproduce in post. So that was something that I heard, and I was like, you know what? I never thought of that, but they're also right. So that's another reason why, if any, I would recommend a like circular polarized filter, because that is an effect that you actually cannot reproduce in post. So let me know what you guys. Oh, Randall's in the house. How are you doing, sir? He's saying hello to everyone. I spilled my coffee on my keyboard and my letter O is not working, so now I need to use the number 0 for it. Wow. Randall, I think you have more than one keyboard, but that's unfortunate. That's funny. Look at the entire chat, a bunch of zeros. Well, I'm glad you're here, sir. Thanks for hanging out. Sly says, couldn't even tell you when that started, but I've had them all my cameras since the 80s. I did put a polarized filter on my dash cam today, and it helps cut down the glare. Yeah, that's why I said that's the one that I use majorly, because I'm taking a lot of pictures from my car. So while I'm snapping away, I was having trouble with these incredible autofocus cameras even on my Canons, like just to be able to focus past the glass, past the windshield. Just put the polarizer on there, and boom, we're good to go. Okay, so Mario says there is no need for use of UV filters to protect the lens. Use clear filters. UV filters are for UV. It was good for film, but for digital, there are clear. It says UV and clear are different. Well, I didn't know that. Thank you, Mario. But still, I wouldn't use either, because I don't think that the clear ones are just gonna not affect the image. I could be wrong. Mario says, go to BMW website. The difference is clear. Well, I believe you. Say, I know BMW at B plus W, not NW. So are they just called BW? So I'm gonna say it like that. So the BW website, I've seen it before, and I know that they make good filters. So, but I still don't think it's necessary. I think a lens hood is gonna protect you a lot more than any clear filter would, because if you're gonna get a direct impact, what I've seen from filters also in my experience is that if they do take an impact, then they become really hard to come off of the camera, or then end up actually the glass that breaks is what ends up scratching the lens. So like if it's gonna take an impact like that, I would just try to be more secure with your gear. But I don't think it's necessary. That's why. And if something's gonna happen that it's gonna get a direct impact through the lens hood and still hit the UV or clear filter, I still think it's gonna be enough to go. Change this. Song was a little much. I need to check my playlist. Okay, so Sly saying, hi Randall, sorry to hear about the coffee mishap. I actually, Randall, just to let you know, I had a cafe mocha from McDonald's the other day, and I thought of you, sir. Randall says, but it's my favorite keyboard, Microsoft Arc keyboard. Oh, I understand you, sir. When it comes to your favorites, so I'm sorry that happened. Mario says, Randall, use decaffeinated coffee next time. Okay, so Elijah Kaz says, hi Randall, I just got an A6100 and wanted to know how to make a waterproof case for cheap. That's interesting. Would you know, Randall? Yes, better never use filters, but there are filters and there are filters. Hoods are better except for the beach. That's the way I see it. Give me 1 second. Buddy, you have your own. It's over there. It's over there. Aiden pulling for my attention. Yes, you, buddy. Okay, so where are we? Asking for a waterproof case. That was interesting. Yes, better never use filters. We were there, and it's all about my rant on filters for me. Frostleaf YouTube. Okay. Still working on this. Am I doing this on the wrong thing? Oh, sorry for this, guys. I just need to moderate my chat here. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I'm still learning how to use this. Okay, so sorry for the dead air, guys. All right, so Scott was saying sorry to Randall. We have Elijah saying Kaz, a Ziploc bag. I think that's the best option. Actually, I've used similar things for my iPhone when I've gone to theme parks and getting into water rides. So if you can fit it in the bag, I think that might really help you out. That's a simple and quick fix. Simple and quick fix. He says, ask Best Buy for one of their shopping bags. That's a good idea. Something a little bit bigger. But maybe one of those, oh, well, they're not that clear. The freezer bags. I know that they're big enough, but I don't know if they're clear enough. They usually, because they're thick, they actually end up getting like a little, like hazy. Okay. Mario says a Ziploc bag with a clear filter. That's great. That's really crispy images. take a nice 42.2 megapixel file and throw all this not so good glass in front of it. I just wouldn't. But that's just me. Okay, so we have Kev in the house. How are you doing? Welcome. We're talking about filters today, and we're having a discussion if UV filters are worth it or not when it comes to your photography. And I don't think so. I went on a little rant. We've been talking about it, and would love to know your thoughts on if you use filters, if you don't use filters, and if you do, which ones you do use. Because the only one that I would use is a circular polarized filter. I think even I saw a video on this recently, and they were just like giving me so many like good points that I was like, you know what, it's absolutely true. Even gradiated filters, you know, like the ones that you would put, you know, like on those bigger like or how more for like landscape photography, where you would just try to darken the sky or anything like that. All of that stuff can be done easily in post. All of it can be done with graduated filters and everything like that on Lightroom or Photoshop. Super easy. That you wouldn't need to carry around all that extra gear. And yeah, like I don't think that's necessary. I wouldn't put any extra piece of glass. We pay so much money for this high-end glass to put, you know, like a degraded piece of tech in front of it. So okay, so Elijah says, I mainly use my camera for videography, and instead of filters I would use LUTs in post as a filter type thing. Yeah, and especially for video. But if you're doing video, then you're probably going to be looking at ND filters, which is a completely different thing. You know, I use ND filters. You have to when it comes to video, and you want to keep your shutter speed correct, your aperture where you want to, you're going to need to use an ND filter. Actually, you see, look, let's go back to the shoulder cam. Actually, you know what? Let me just keep it here. Let's see if we can see it. There we go. This is my variable ND filter, because it gets darker at, you know, as needed. And in South Florida, to get your images and your videos correct, you're gonna need to use an ND filter, because we have so much excessive light. Look at this. I'm talking about don't use filters, and then I'm like, oh yeah, but I use polarizers and I use NDs, and like I'm like the camera conspiracies guy right now, and just contradicting everything that I'm saying. Oh, that's so funny. Lewis, add the YouTube bad words to your settings and it will prevent stuff like that. I don't even know if there was bad words. I just saw peanut butter, and I just knew that they were just trying to get something. But I really don't know how to use the, you know, the moderation status myself. So I'm gonna need to start learning and running a couple of you know, live streams in private by myself, so that I can actually learn all of the like things that I can do as a moderator, because I'm not even sure if there was 2 people or 1, or, you know, if one, like, I don't know. But that doesn't faze me. I have a really thick skin. I've actually done stand-up comedy, so I actually don't have a problem like being the butt end of a joke. But this is also, you know, my live stream, so if I'm not gonna have it in my house, I just need to learn how to use the application more. That's it. Randall says, I just used the lens hood. Yeah, that's what I do as well. But like I said, I do actually have to use ND filters for video, not so much for photography, because for photography you can increase the shutter. But if you increase the shutter for video, then it's gonna get really looking real jittery real fast. And these are the things that I notice when it comes to video. You know, I do notice, like, if somebody's looking off to the side or looking above the camera. I notice if it's the shutter speed is too jittery or something like that. Give me 1 second. I need to hydrate. Okay, so here we go. Mario says, the thing is that if you're going to place an extra piece of degrading glass in front of your lens, do it only for ND, polarizer, infrared, or protection, or use a good one. Right? That's exactly what I said. So don't buy it unless all of those conditions. ND filters are very good to make people disappear with no guns. NDs? How do you make people disappear with NDs? Neutral densities. Well, yeah, actually true. That's true. Yeah, you get the bokeh effect. You get that in the background. So when you have that bokeh, if you are shooting wide open, actually, you know what? That brings me up to this thing, because this is a contraption that I let me give you the story behind it. I've mentioned this before. I did that Make Art Now challenge for Josh Yo, and I needed to just make a video, and I really only had my A6000 with the kit lens. So at that moment, I was like, you know what? I need to get it done. And I started shooting in broad daylight. But to actually control my shutter and aperture, I needed a lot, and I mean a lot, of neutral density to bring down the, the exposure and get everything in correctly. So let me see if I can find it. Oh, here it is. Now I'm gonna go to Peter Gregg is here. How are you doing, sir? Welcome. Okay, this song seems like a Batman theme. All right, that one's good. Okay, let me go to my shoulder cam. None of my macros are working. Okay. This piece of tech right here is what I call my Junkie VND box. It's basically a mock-up of a matte box, but because I needed so much extra ND with the sun here in South Florida, what I had to do was actually put a 4-stop ND on the back. So right here, this is a 4-stop step-up rings to a variable stop ND filter. So I needed to put this, and I put that onto my A6000, and then I needed to close this down a lot, almost all the way, to get it dark enough to expose the image correctly that I use for my Josh Yo Make Art Now challenge video. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen that. I made that for my business and for the challenge, but I was always proud with what I was able to do with so little. But that's part of my Mr. Camera Junkie experience. of just making something out of nothing. But this little thing impressed me because it worked so well that I kept it. So I just have it in the little pouch there, and whenever I need to get correct exposure in video, I use ND filters. So that's what I use ND filters and variable ND filters for video. Now, Peter's here. Mario saying hi to Peter. Okay, Kevin's saying, when I started photography, I was told to use filters, but now I only use ND filters when doing long exposures. Yeah, exactly. Or to get that shutter speed correct, you know, the 180-degree rule when it comes to video. Sly saying hi to Peter. Randall is doing the same. Mario saying the filter from the front of the lens. The farther the filter from the front of the lens, the worse it gets exponentially. Do not stack. Oh, look, yes. Do not stack. Let's not even go into stacking filters like that, because the worst part is if you don't do them correctly. Like, the problem that I had, the reason why I had to use this step-up system is because to get the wide angle on it, if you would actually just stack the filters, you would start to get a really hardcore vignette, because your image is trying to get wider and you're just kind of putting a tube in front of it just because they're all the same filter threads. So you need to make sure that, like, that's another reason why I had to extend with the step up rings to get that other variable ND filter on top there to create this little matte box, just so that it would fit the wideness of a 24mm shot, because if not, then it would just not even fit. But that was what I had to do, the extremes. Okay, so where are we? It says, why Randy have troubles here tonight? Okay, I'm getting lost here. Excuse me. Okay, so everybody's saying hi to Peter, including Aaron. We got thumbs up and saying yes. It looks like Sly's got water and she was thanking Peter, so that's great news to hear, Sly. I guess we're talking about what just happened, but I'm not even sure. I think Randall's been taking care of it, so I appreciate that, Randall. But you know what's so funny about this as well? That somebody was just talking about it. I think it was on a live stream today with Nick Nimmin or something about the blocks list, and I really need to just make an extensive list and start using it in my videos, just to make sure that, you know, these things are just even taken care of ahead of time. Even though YouTube's been doing a really good job out of it lately, so I do have to say that. Rob is here saying, hi Lewis, hope all is well with me and my little guy. Yeah, he's doing great, and it's nice to see you. It's been a while, I haven't heard from you, sir, so glad to have you here. Oh, I would appreciate your help, Peter. You know what? Let me do this. So there you go, Peter. I think you should have a wrench now. I think I just made you a moderator. I'm not sure, but I think that went through. But I'm still learning how to do all of these things. But I do want to say thank you, Randall, because whatever was going on, I didn't see it. All I see is like timed out by Randall, timed out, and I don't see it coming in through the chat. So, like I said, I appreciate it. But Peter, now that you're here in chat, we were talking about filters. And we got into this weird discussion because I actually said that I don't use filters. The only time that especially UV filters, and that's where the conversation spawned from. Like, would you use UV filters on your cameras? And I've had images be degraded because of UV filters in front of a great piece of glass, a great lens. So ever since then I stopped using it, but then started realizing that for my own photography in the vehicle, I use a circular polarizer to get past the windshield glare. It's kind of one of the ones that I would use, or NDs when it comes to video. And the only time that I would use a UV filter, or like Mario's teaching me, a clear filter, would be if I was doing a photo shoot at the beach, so that I make sure that like the sand and dust and grime doesn't get all into my lens or start scratching the element because of all the flying sand. I need to hydrate, excuse me. So I would love to get your thoughts on filters, and what, as a professional photographer, what are your thoughts when it comes to UV filters, polarized filters, and ND filters? Okay. Mario says, as Kev Taylor said, long exposure again to make people vanish without them even knowing it. A tripod, a strong ND, and 20 seconds. Times Square also softens water at the beach and rivers. Yeah, long exposures for photography. Very true. Okay, so we have McNasty's in the house. How are you doing, sir? It's been a while. Are you a father? Did that happen already? Or correct me if I'm wrong, are we still expecting? Kimbucha's in the house. Just swinging by to say hello. Well, how you doing, Kim? Thank you for stopping by, even if it's for just a short while. Aaron says, yes, you need filters, Lewis. Or Arnold. Okay, so he says, baby video came out great. Thanks for all the help. I am so glad, sir. I am so glad. Now you're going to apply those skills to the years and years of videos to come, and you with your baby. So congratulations. Aaron says he has a question. If I'm using two cameras for video, now do I need to match them up color-wise? That would be ideal. Definitely. You could definitely start by matching the white balance. I would tell you to use the Kelvin system, and whichever K that you think you like the color rendition, just match it. And that should take care of the majority of like the color issues, unless you're using completely different profiles. Wow, I'm going completely dry right now, guys. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, Aaron, match the white balance, and I think that would take care of a lot of the color issues, unless you're using two completely different like picture profiles, or color profiles, like one's vivid, the other one's just standard. You might notice the difference because of the saturation, But if you can match the picture profiles or leave them on standard and match the white balance, then the colors should be fine. Nothing noticeable that would be different, even if you're using two completely different cameras, two completely different brands. Sammy Superstar in the house. Welcome, sir. How are you doing, sir? Says, yes, baby boy was born February 2nd. Congratulations. Atticus is his name. Hopefully I said that correct. Mario says, do notice that a softening filter is the only piece of gear that could buy without asking permission for your wife. One thing that I've noticed is that a lot of vintage glass has some of that, because they're not as sharp and technically sharp as lenses of today, especially these high megapixel lenses that, women tend to like the softening of particular vintage lenses because the lack of sharpness. This is very funny because there was also leading actresses of Hollywood going as far back as the 20s that would put in their contracts that they would only be filmed with a certain type of lens because it was so flattering, and they wanted to have their image be the same across all the movies that they make, so that they actually put that clause into their contract that they would only be filmed with a certain type of cinema lens. So that goes to show you that definitely comes into play. Sly is saying hi to Kim and Sammy and congratulations. Sammy is saying you're like Diana Gladney. It takes time for the comments. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to take that as a compliment, Sammy. I'm teaching my son the basics of photography, so I'm showing him how to use and polarize filter. Look at that. The filter that I said that I would use. Caught your YouTube short. I hate shorts as a typical watch on a big screen, but said yours and the sensor dust was way better than many other shorts I've seen. Like to use the motion graphics. Well done. Thank you. I'm gonna see how the shorts go, but I'm gonna tell you, it was pretty fun to make it because I was able to put a lot of creative energy into just such a short little piece of content. And second, that it's kind of harder sometimes to get a message across in such a short time frame. Like right now we're using the live stream and we have basically an unlimited amount of time, hypothetically, right? But that means that if I wanted to take a little bit more time to get a point across or get a little bit more into detail about what I want to talk about, then to do that, I would have to, I have the ability because I have more time to do that. When you're put into a restriction of a minute or less, you have to then make sure that no time is wasted. You have to cut out all the fat and get your point across. But like I said, I was able to shoot both of those videos that you saw in one sitting because I was able to write them out ahead of time, just like my ideas. So that's what I'm starting to do right now, and I'm up to I think 3 or 4 more of these short little content or photography tips or hacks ideas, and I'm gonna see how they go, because how they're easier to produce for me. I think that's something that'll also allow me to supplement some of my some of my uploads and allow me to do better with the content that I do want to produce while still producing content. So it's very interesting. Excuse me. But thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. I'm gonna see how they go, because you know, if they get picked up on a short shelf or something like that, I will definitely let you guys know. Aaron's saying, Rob, you hate my videos. Aaron, you got me, man. You got me, Aaron. There we go. Oh man, Aaron, you got me, man. He said, oh, I misread. That was too funny. Mario's congratulating to McNasty. Kids encourage us the best. Yes, they do. Everything that I'm doing here right now is because of that little guy. You know, he's my motivation. He's the reason why I wake up and do what I do every day. You know, and some days there's a lot. Like today, I was so proud because on top of taking care of my son and running a Mr. Fix-It phone repair business, I was also able to put up my my awning so that I could like protect myself coming in and out of the house when it's raining, and in South Florida it's always raining. And this was a project that was way overdue. Like, it's been sitting out there completed for like maybe 2 months, you know, 2 months overdue. So 2 months overdue, and today I was able to complete it and finish it up. So that's, you know, small win for me. But yeah, with that being said, let's continue. It says, it's interesting how the chat comes up on screen before it appears on YouTube. Yes, that's something that I have noticed as well. It's very, like, see, like Mario just said thank you, and I don't see it on chat yet. And it just hit the chat. It is so interesting. So I have to read it from the chat, because if not, I get lost. Because over here, the way you guys see it, it pops up so fast that I'll definitely miss it while I'm reading stuff. Okay, we're all talking about shorts right now. This is Rob. Says Aaron short music, LOL. I just feel creators are making shorts, yet they're just doing it to be part of the rage. It's tough to make a very good short with good content. We'll watch yours tonight. Aaron wasn't saying, you know, that he has shorts videos. It was just his name. That's what I believe. So let's see if okay, so he says I don't have any shorts. But when I do, there will be Aaron shorts. Exactly. That's why I laugh so hard, because he got me. He's like, wait, you don't like my videos? And if I wear shorts, there will be Aaron shorts. Nasty says, thank you to Mario. I only started photography because of my children. I wanted to catch them special moments. It's so funny because McNasty is just starting this journey as well. My son definitely was a big factor in inspiring me to get back into the photography. You know, just doing the same thing, making sure I take pictures of all of these small little achievements and aspects in his life. So snap away, because that's what I told everyone. I took 50,000 images last year. Now, majority for me, you know, not as far as like work for client. And the majority of that little man right there, you know, and those are all my images. That's why I also got into this. That's why I'm here with you guys. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. Aaron says there's a lot of bandwagons right now. Should we jump on or stick with what we do? I'm undecided. Well, Aaron, if we're talking about shorts, shorts videos. Right now, YouTube just came out with a notice saying that it is, I guess like they feel like they've worked all the little kinks out. It has been active for a while already in India, meaning the shorts camera is built into the YouTube app natively, just like a TikTok video type thing. But with that being said, meaning that we already have the short shelf available here in the US and that those videos are available, this is something that they're really going to be hitting the gas on. So like Rob had mentioned, I was hesitant to make a shorts video because I wanted to make sure that I treated that piece of content like I treat all of my content, meaning it was thoughtful, and I tried to provide value. I tried to provide value in the video. So whether it was like the first one I made was redirecting the audience to my longer content, which was a recommendation from Daniel Batal. Excuse me. And then I said, you know what? I have these tips of the day that I do at the beginning of every single live stream. And I was also told that that's something that people like. So then I was like, you know what? Let me apply those two things together and start doing a small tip of the day type of photography tip as my YouTube shorts, because it coincides with the content in my videos. So for example, I didn't make a TikTok about me dancing to a popular song, so that if somebody were to find my TikTok and see me dancing around and like it for whatever reason, then subscribes to my channel, and my channel has nothing to do with said TikTok video or said dancing video. So for that reason, I made sure that I made my shorts video around the same niche, around the same aspect that my channel is, and I'm gonna see how it goes. You guys are coming along for the ride and you're here, so you will definitely know if it works or if it doesn't. Right now it's performing just like my other pieces of content as far as the views goes, but the retention is well, my photography removing dust short is actually at over 100% retention, which I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I guess that means that they're watching the video at least once, and then maybe more than once, or rewinding certain parts. But right now the retention is over 100% on a 25-second video. So let's get back to the chat here. So Rob says, who wears Aaron short shorts? Only the old folks in the room will get this joke. No old folks in here, says Aaron. Just the body, not the mind. Just embody, not the mind, says Randall. What is the verdict on shorts anyways? Lots of talk on Clubhouse. Does it hurt your stats or provoke it being okay or no impact? Well, from what YouTube said, it's going to be nothing negative on your channel. And the people that were mostly worried about the metric, they're saying like, oh, my average view duration is going to be like trash because people are only going to be watching a minute when my videos are longer than that normally. They said that it wasn't going to affect it. Does it? I'm not sure, but the point where my channel is right now, I can't see it hurting. There's a lot of people who say that doing live streams hurt their channel. So I can't say that. I think live streams have helped my channel. I think it's building the community, and me getting to know you guys better. Like McNasty, the fact that we've spoken on this live stream about, him about to become a father and asking questions about taking videos and photos of the event and thereon after. And now he's back here, telling us that he just had his boy, getting to like 3 weeks ago, like getting close. So he has a 3-week-old baby boy, and that, and that the video and that all of that was successful thanks to the information that he got here. And that just makes my day. I don't think there's anything better than that. And that relationship that's being built here has, I think, only helped my channel. I know it's helped me. So with that being said, I'm trying things out in a different approach. Let's just hope and keep our fingers crossed that it doesn't do negative things to other people's channels. Now, I know Aaron's channel is a little bit bigger than mine, when it comes to audience members. So with that being said, I will definitely let you know how it works out for my channel. But as far as what YouTube says, it's not going to do anything negative to the channel. Now, one thing that I would like to, let everyone know is, if you are creating content on the platform, know that YouTube wants you to succeed, because if you succeed, then they make more money. It's as simple as that. So once you get that and you understand that, then hey, you know what? I don't think anything that they're trying to put on the platform is going to be, an outcome to be negative. People make risky content on the platform and then start talking about that YouTube shadow banning them. I'm like, no, that's your content, because that's what you chose to do. So let's go back to the chat. Okay, so Peter Gregg says, I made a short and shared it with 5 friends, and they were all neutral to thumbs down. So I got some work to do to make it better. LOL. Well, Peter, like I told you, make sure that it's vertical. Besides that, I think you should be good. And I've even heard that they said under 60 seconds, but going back to the Clubhouse information that I've been hearing, I would say, just to be clear, under 58. Under 58 seconds, to make sure it doesn't even hit the 59 marker or 60, just to be in the clear. Okay, Aaron saying, I was talking about the fantastic guitarist in Indonesia. He has a lot of subs and views, and now musicians are reacting to him. When do they get thousands of views, no matter who they are? So I had mentioned this before, that there's like a limited amount of spots on the short shelf. So if you make it there, then you can see an exponential amount of growth, and you think that the video's taken off, but they're just testing, because there's only certain amount of spots that are available. You're hitting up the majority of YouTube with your short, so you'll see thousands of views go overnight, but it could just be like a 15-minute flash in the pan, so to speak. And it'll go, and then it'll come and it'll go just as fast. So if you have a video that actually hits the short shelf and does well on the shelf, because people like the content, then that can go into like what they call viral. Like it can just go exponential, because they will have no reason to take it off the short shelf if it's performing that well. Okay, so he says, now everyone's doing it. Peter, I got it. 1 minute fudge. That would be for his cooking channel. That might not be a bad idea. If you can make a recipe, Peter, with under a minute, just no fluff, just get the basics, and then bring your charm at the end to say like bye and thank you for watching. I think that would be a good short video that you can do for your cooking channel, and you can test it out. Aaron, you seem fixated on the fudge. Are you hungry for some fudge? I would love to send you a bit, but it would melt. You gave him the recipe. If he wanted to make it, he knows exactly how. Adding a little bit of salt. We all saw you make it live. It was the highlight of your channel in 2020. Rob, I watched your dust short a few times. So much info is such time, hence it might be why people are watching shorts in a few times in a row. Need to see it 2 or more times to take in the info. Well, that's good. That's kind of the whole point. Miss Dreeks. Oh, I hope you're still here, Miss Dreeks. Much love to you. I hope you know that it's all with love, and I'm so glad that you're here hanging out. You know, you're lucky because I've yet to be invited onto one of these live streams to be roasted myself. So I'm waiting for my chance. You know, I'm waiting for my 15 minutes of fame in the LGL. So, but thanks for stopping by. Randall saying, Peter, it's cold in New York City unless he turns on the ZV-1. That's good, Randall. I like that. Oh, the ZV-1 is getting hot and keeping Aaron warm over there. He doesn't even need to turn on his furnace. Okay, McNasty says, yes, been great, Lewis. You rock. I think that's you just replying to what I said. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you just as much. ZV-1 is working great so far. Randall says firmware update is doing good. Okay, that's good. Another thing is that I heard with that firmware update, you don't even need to download the Sony like web utility software. It's built into the camera now. So now if you wanted to use it as a webcam, all you have to do is plug it in via USB and you're good. Like the computer will automatically recognize the ZV-1 as a webcam. That's... Don't be surprised if you see that like be applied in later iterations of Sony cameras where there's going to be plug and play and that all the computer systems are just going to recognize them as webcams. That's going to be ridiculous. The fact that you won't need a capture card to actually connect a higher end Sony camera as your webcam. That's awesome. Okay. I wonder if some units just have different components or were defective. I'm going to tell you one thing, Aaron. I don't know exactly how the camera division of Sony works, but from my experience working in electronics and working on PlayStations, which are Sony products, I know for a fact that even though they're called the same model camera, in my case, they can all be called PlayStation 2s or PlayStation 3s, PlayStation 4s, but the model number on the back really made a difference on the internals. So even though that they were all on the outside the same console and would hypothetically or entail do the same exact thing, they did have a variety of different internal components that were completely shaped differently for various different models of PlayStation, and that's from my experience doing repairs on those devices. So it wouldn't surprise me if they did, if they would have ZV-1s coming from different locations that had completely different internals. With the guitarist I was talking about regular videos, his fans all comment and ask the channel to react to more of them, so the channels end up converting into reaction channels. Interesting times, I guess that's what he was saying. Does YouTube require it to be vertical? I don't like verticals personally. Unfortunately, yes, when it comes to the shorts videos to get onto the shelf, it is a requirement for it to be vertical. because this is just a reaction. This is YouTube's response to TikTok in their hopes to not lose Gen Z. That's it. And they're actually trying to see, because there's a lot of TikTokers out there right now that have created YouTube channels and have not put one video on the YouTube channel and have 5,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers that all have come from the TikTok side, and they don't have content to put on YouTube. But now, because they're making the transition, they can bring that TikTok content, short form content, vertical, and put it right onto the shorts. And that's what they're hoping. They're hoping to grab Gen Z and not lose them. McNasty says, I live in Dallas, Texas. It's been hell. Oh, that's right. How have you been? Because we have Randall here, who's also in San Antonio. Aaron says yes. Actually, Peter says, want to see my short video? And Aaron says yes, vertical. It has to be vertical, yes. But Peter, I would love to see your short video. Rob saying, Peter Gregg 60-second shorts for the cooking channel. S'mores, just don't burn the marshmallows or you're in trouble. You see, I wouldn't even know what the rules for s'mores are, because I love the burnt marshmallows. Like, I won't put it on the s'more unless it's like covered in dark, you know, like in that charcoal, like burnt marshmallow exterior. That's what makes it good. I think I like the smoky flavor of things. That's definitely a flavor that I love in my profile. Aaron says, I'm using the HDMI on the ZV-1 for 4K. If it's not locked to 720p, but it is cool, I think standard USB can handle 4K. Cannot handle 4K. I would agree. I know for a fact you're gonna have some loss on it, but what I'm saying is that you can just plug and play. For people who are using like a cheapo webcam, you know, that comes standard with their laptop or something, that's an incredible step up. Randall saying, Aaron, interesting USB for power and HDMI for video. I think that's how Aaron could be using it with a capture card, but the way that is doing it through the web utility, it's getting power and video from the USB. That's why I know for a fact you're going to be losing quality. McNasty saying no power and -1 sucked. Hopefully you have power now. I think it's been off and on. Aaron says, yes to Randall. TikTokers, LOL, never heard that expression. Oh, you never heard of that expression? That's, yeah. Everything's got a name, or, you know, an ers to it. YouTube ers, TikTok ers, live stream ers. Just add an ERS. Hopefully YouTube will launch a new platform called UTalk or TikTube. And all the shorts will go there. One can only dream. UTalk. TikTube, I can go with TikTube. I think TikTube's got a nice ring to it, but then that would just be like an infringement on the name. Listen to live stream. Twitter doesn't work for YouTubers. That's what Randall says. Aaron says, if I type at Rob, does it make the comment highlight in red for Rob only? Yes. It's highlighting only for that specific person. You know, I really tell you, people don't think about this, but if you change your profile picture today, right, and it's a completely different picture than it was last year, you can go into a live stream from last year, and when your name comes up, it's going to come up with the new picture. Think about that. Kombucha says, I use my Canon M50 over USB, and it was just 720 people, and people were always blown away about how nice my video was on the Zoom calls. Yeah. The M50 can be used with the USB hub utility, I'm guessing. That's interesting. Oh, but it's 720p. That's why everybody at the LGL keeps talking about the M50 Mark II, because that's the one that gives you the clean HDMI. Okay, now I'm understanding. Aaron saying it makes sense about the highlighted comments. Rob saying at Aaron Short Music shows red for me. However, even if you type in if you type in robbery, it will always show in red as pickup Rob, or even problems with the flashy name. That's funny, Rob. I know, but TikToker sounds funny. Aaron Short Music says, so I do not have to type the at. Yes, you do. The at is very important. And once you type in the first 2 or 3 characters of the person's name, the rest of it should pop up, and then you hit enter. And then you're for sure making sure that you're tagging that person in that comment, in the live chat, and they will see it highlighted to them, so that when they're just reading the chat, they see it extra, like bright. It says, I just typed Rob and it's highlighted. I'm going to have to test that out. If you're saying that all you're doing is typing Rob, you know what? Should I be able to do that? Ooh, I just messed up my chat. Oh no. It's now it starts changing the... Okay, so that was a fail. It looks like I can't chat because now the macros decided to work. So let's see. This is ridiculous. I'm not gonna touch the computer because this thing's off the hook right now. Okay, let's go back to this. So it says, so I do not have to type the at. I think you do. For me, you do. I just type Rob and it's highlighted. McNess is saying I have power now, but doing good now. Thanks. Okay, that's good to hear. Aaron Short saying Kim 720 is fine with a good camera. Most watch on phones, etc. Anyway, at robbery test. Rob says, when Aaron just typed my name as Rob, just hit the last message, my name is in red, and I suspect you did not use the at. Right, so don't need to do the at. At Aaron Short Music says, yep. That tagged me in. I'm not sure. If I type MrCameraJunkie, does it highlight for Lewis? It did highlight for me, Aaron. Let me know if you just typed in at MrCameraJunkie or MrCameraJunkie. Randall says, McNasty, glad to have power and heat, no water problems. Aaron said, I used the at on the test. Then that's why it came through. Still no go on the robbery test. Nope. There we go. But guys, we're just past an hour. No for @Lewis, no. Okay, let's see. Rob is so funny. Look at how long it's taking, from it hitting the screen to it coming out. It says Mr. Camera Junkie without the @ symbol. Is it in red? Guessing not. No. It says enough of that. Yep. But guys, we just passed an hour. And I think we've extended all the talk as far as filters go. So at the end of the night, what have we learned today? Filters are not worth it unless you want to use them. Don't use filters unless you're going to be at the beach. Then you can use it because you want to protect your lens. Because if you're not at the beach, then you're not going to need to protect your lens. A lens cap will do just fine. So don't use UV filters. Get a clear filter. Unless you're in a car, then you're going to use a polarized filter. And if you're going to do either long exposures or video work, then you need ND filters. And I think that's all the types of filters that you could use. But if you're not going to use them in any of those types of forms, then don't use filters at all. I think I summed it up pretty well there. Yeah, I think I did a good job. Okay, so yes, the @ is not required. Just type their name. Aaron, you're confused, sir. You have to use the @ symbol. That's why people even use that as a word that says, hey, don't @ me. Don't @ me is that little symbol that you need to put in before somebody's name. Aaron says, we learned that we need to filter our shorts and fudge because Arnold said so. Rob says, I like to use something just for lens protection when I'm somewhere. I just need to be able to wipe it clean quick and not scratch my lens. Get to the chopper. At Arnold. He says, no, you don't need it. Well, it's really up to everyone and how they feel. Like I said, I will not put a UV filter on my lenses because it has affected my photography, and for that reason I wouldn't want it to affect any future of my images. So that's where I'm gonna leave it. Aaron says, I did not type the symbol here and I got highlighted. I don't know. McNasty says, yet to Randall, he is nice. Unfortunately, my pipes are jacked. Oh, they probably like caused damage from freezing over or something. I'm sorry to hear that if that's what happened. Aaron's saying, no, I don't need that. I'm gonna try it. I'm in plenty of live streams. Trust me, I'm in a live stream all the time. You know, I'm always listening. So, you know, I go to comment, and I'm definitely one who ats people all the time in the live chats. I do it in Peter's chat all the time. So I need to make sure, and I'll see exactly how that goes. Rob says, I think you might be able to do a video on a quick or cheap filter. Saran wrap over the lens. Bingo. For protection, right? You want to protect it from the dust. Saran wrap it. You know what? That's almost a short that I would do, but that's messed up. Like, that's funny. Randall says, sorry. I'm not sure about what, but guys, thank you very much for hanging out. I appreciate you all hanging out here, spending your time with me. I love having you guys here, like in my house, spending the time with me, going over everything and anything when it comes to photography and life. So, guys, have a great night. be safe, get some rest, okay? Because we're doing it all over again. I'm gonna be trying to see what I do. I don't know. I did want to mention something because I do want to acknowledge every single one of you who is here hanging out with me. The channel is starting to grow, you know, the way that I want to, and I'm starting to like hit these little metrics. I was gonna mention like, hey, we hit 300 subscribers on my channel, and we're getting close to 330 by the time that I get to mention it to you guys. So I just want to thank you again, because this is something that I am taking serious. So I can't wait to see where we all end up on this roller coaster at the end of this calendar year. But I just wanted to mention that to you guys, because without you, this wouldn't even be happening. So I really do appreciate every single one of you. But yes, once again, everyone, have a safe and good night. Get some rest. Be safe wherever you are, whether it's, you know, your neighbors or the weather. And I will see you guys next week, same time. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put a little feeler out for you guys. Would you like to do the live stream a little bit earlier? Because I'm gonna try to do it. It's a little tough with Aiden, because I try to take care of all of his needs first. But if it's something that you guys think that might be easier to, you know, get onto the live stream, if it's a little bit earlier in the night, let me know, because it's something that I think that I might be looking into do in the future. Maybe change the time from, you know, midnight to a little bit earlier in the night. But let me know your thoughts on that. And with that being said, once again, good night to everyone. Be safe, and we'll see you next week, okay?